This is a story of how I bombed Japan. So I recently moved to Japan and I've been loving it. You know, the cherry blossoms, the Shibuya vibes, and the occasional sunset view of Mount Fuji from a side. People visiting Japan will tell you about these honeymoon phase stories, but one thing they won't mention is these. To be or not to be? That is the question. I stood tiptoe upon a little hill. The air was cooling and so. You just finished there. What are you scared of? I'm not gonna bite you or anything. These things are everywhere. Like everywhere. And I'm not even that bothered by bugs, but these things, they'll make their way into your house if you let them. You know, Japan is mostly mountains and forests, like in Ghibli movies. They always show you characters lying in lush green grass, but they never show this. So in Japan, even in dense cities like Tokyo, you'll find a lot of greenery. And even though it looks really pretty and really magical, that also means you have to live with these things. Now, this is a really well-known problem among the Japanese people, and they've come up with pretty quirky solutions for it. You know, Japanese people, they have quirky solutions for everything. For everyday use items, Japan is way ahead of the rest of the world. So naturally, Japanese people, they do have a cure for this. And I happen to know one such Japanese person. We told him about the problem and he said, "Daijoubu, watashi ni makasete." And the solution he showed us was jaw-dropping. Allow me to explain what the solution was. He brought this thing with him. It was like a tiny red cylinder. It was about this big in size and red in color. And he placed it in our tiny room and told us, "Sagare, kiken da zo." For the roaches and the bugs, all hell broke loose. It was like the rapture. It seemed like all eschatology for the bugs played out in mere minutes and they speedran the end of times. I peeked in through the window of my tiny room and what I saw in there was pure chaos. The entire room was filled with fumes and smokes and roaches were running left and right. The solution was so potent that we rightfully named it the bomb. Now the thing about our Japanese friend over here was he was so good at placing these quote-unquote bombs, he was rightfully named as the Bomberman. So whenever we had a problem with the insects, we say, "Hey yo, dial up the Bomberman." So pretty soon the word spread out in our community. Everyone started calling this guy and telling him, "Hey, can you bring the bomb?" And he would meticulously do his job. I'm not gonna lie, he had a way of doing his job. Now you can all imagine how all this can go horribly wrong. I mean, his chat logs are filled with bombs and locations. And I'm no Einstein, but what do you think is gonna happen over here? So one fateful night, after placing the bomb, our friend here went back to his house at night and he gets a knock on his door. He goes to the door and opens up. Bakudan Yokoku no Tsuho ga haiteiru. I kill cockroach. どうしていつもバコナンのことを話してるんだ? It's for the cockroach. そこで案内できますか? I take you there. Okay. So he guides them to our facility where he had recently placed the bomb. That was one tough conversation. It was really hard to explain to the police. They were like, "This is not a bomb. Why are you guys always talking about bombs and locations?" And we were like, "It's a bomb for the roaches, you know." Anyways, that Japanese friend of ours, he begged us not to call him the Bomberman after that. That was so funny, and every now and then we tease him, "Hey yo, Bomberman," and his face goes like pale. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Click on this video to learn how and why I GT'd a kid. It's not as bad as it sounds, but I mean, it's kinda bad. Also, let me know what kind of coffee you like in the comment section down below and subscribe to the channel. See ya!